Australia's fastest Raptor.
That sounds like a pretty good YouTube title.
It's not bad, eh?
Yeah, I reckon we should run with that. Episode 7.
Leaning on your paint?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Alright guys, episode 2, version 1. So we did a little bit ask about face. We built the option 2 exhaust first.
Yeah.
It was the easiest one to fabricate, so it was the easiest one to come back from. We thought it would sound better, right? That's the one I think that we thought we were going to end up running with. But I think after finalising option 1, that might be the one we go into production with, hey?
I feel like that made the biggest change in sound straight away.
Yeah.
And we both liked it better.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
And one thing we noticed from the comments is it is super hard to pick the difference.
So the thing that I've sort of been saying back to people on comments is chuck a set of headphones in, because the noise difference is not that noticeable on a computer speakers or TV speakers, which are generally pretty poor quality, right?
Yeah.
Headphones you could.
What do you think, what's the best way to summarise how it does sound?
I was trying to do this in the car earlier, and I don't have a good explanation for the noise that comes out at top end, right? So like I keep saying raspiness because I think that's just what people say, but that Commodore like noise
is gone.
We're trying to get rid of it.
Yeah. And so I was talking to Morgs a little bit about it, and he said he thinks it sounds deeper.
Yeah, well,
it's got a really crisp note. And
Japanese is what I went with.
Yeah. It sounds fucking cool. But anyway,
that's how to describe it.
Stick around for the next 40 or 50 minutes, settle in, get comfy. We're going to run you through the fab work. We're going to drop the car off to the dyno. Zach and Paul are going to do some more testing.
Yep, sound testing back to back, showing you the stock setup and this one.
But yeah, like I said, we're much happier with this one than what we were of option 2.
Yeah.
So I understand that it's a bit confusing because we're filming option 1, it's episode 2, but again, it was just from a fabrication standpoint of things, it was just easier to come back from that one. So.
And also, this is our first crack at YouTube. Go easy on us. This is really hard. It's really difficult. So, but do you want to talk about the development side of things as well? Like how we're filming this in a week's time.
True, so another thing that we've noticed heaps of, which is overwhelming support, which is fucking awesome. But one thing we should address is that, yeah, like Zach just said, we are, much to Paul's dismay, sorry mate.
Sorry Paul.
We film and we edit and we drop within 10 days of each other. So unfortunately for us, we don't have the luxury of filming this 6 months ago and having a product ready to drop when you guys see the episode.
Yeah, this isn't a hype clip, it's just accidentally turned into one. We were just trying to show the development series, and now everyone's like, when can
I have it?
I want it yesterday.
Yeah. So,
which is awesome. It's a great problem to have, but we just want to let you know that we're 10 days ahead of what you're watching right now.
Yeah. I guess the purpose of this build series was always to take people along for the ride with us, hey?
Yep.
And like I said, the support that we've had is fucking awesome. So I really do. We both appreciate it. Hey,
massively.
It's been awesome. Basically, once we get the car back from Jordan, we're going to strip the mid-pipe. We're going to send it away to be scanned and mandrel bent. We've got to source mufflers. We've got to manufacture valves. All things being well, I would imagine maybe 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, don't buy your kids Christmas presents, save all your money and give it to me in January. I'm kidding. Buy them something small. But anyway, guys, settle in, strap in, enjoy the episode.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a belter.
It is a good one.
Yeah.
And more burnouts.
Sweet, so while the boys start fab on version 1, version 2 of the mid-pipe, I'm gonna head out to Queensland Transport, get the new plates on the Raptor. You can see if you bloody won. This way? This way. You know what's quite nice is going to Queensland Transport and not trying to rego a dodgy Nissan Silvia with a questionable roadworthy. I'm just here for legitimate business, please. You know those car parks where you just know that someone's gonna open a door into your car? This is definitely one of those car parks. You know what's really noisy in a place you're not supposed to film? A GoPro. Fucking hell. Got the plates sorted, let's go back to Fabulous.
All right guys, so obviously what we've got to do before we start fabricating the second, option 1, we've got to get option 2 off. Like we covered in the last episode, you can see here where the tape's blown out, which is where the back pressure was blowing back. So while we're in the workshop today, we're going to readdress this valving situation and see if we can come up with something a bit better. We have to drop the car up to Caboolture to Dyno this afternoon, so we've got to make sure this is sussed before we finish up today. So we'll get this off, we'll get it all cut up, and then we'll start fabricating the option 1, the twin in, twin out exhaust. Let's go.
Yeah.
All right guys, so like I said, now that we've got this out, let's shit over to the bench, we'll cut it up, and we'll start fabbing the new section. So I'm just basically gonna cut this up and cover my GoPro in sparks and make Zach buy us a new one. So what we're gonna do with the new section of exhaust is we're gonna completely get rid of this. We're gonna fab pretty much brand new from here back to here. Later in the episode, we'll show you why. There's a little bit of trickery we've got to do here to go from twin vertical, which is a stock muffler, to twin horizontal, which is our new muffler. So we'll run through all that later. But basically, I'm just going to trim the valves, trim the exhaust off the valves as closely as possible, clean them all up, and then we can start fabbing. As you can see guys, we've kind of cut as much or as far around as we can with the grinder without cutting into the valves or any of that sort of stuff. So we'll switch over to the air hacksaw and painstakingly finish it like that. Yep, good to go. So I think I've kind of like almost reached my limits even with the air hacksaw now. So, might be time to break out the saber saw. Where's Zach when we need him? For me? I'm not sure. We have some fake that who gon' hurt this. You must be blinded by the lights. We came to shine here. All right. So now we've got these off. We'll shoot down, clean them up. And then I think the next, as far as the fabrication process goes, we'll position the muffler in the car where we want it. And then we'll work from the front pipes back to the muffler, get that section all locked in, and then we'll have some fun down the end making everything meet up and work. I'm just thinking about what we're going to do with these valves as far as checking them out goes. Maybe it'll just be a matter of fully opening the valve, which will be in Baja mode, and just sort of slicing that off with the air hacksaw, rather than completely disassembling it. Hopefully if we can do that in there. And so the reason I'm going to so much effort here to clean this up is fabrication is a lot like painting a car, and the more time you spend on prep work, the better the result's going to be at the end. So if we were to try and weld new stainless pipe to this old valve, and when I say old, I mean it's only 20,000 Ks, but still, so it's just way easier and you end up with a way nicer finish if you spend a little bit more time on the prep work before you start welding. Which I know is hard because let's face it, welding is the fun part. Let's go back to the car, we'll position the muffler and then we can start connecting the dots. Like we covered in the smoko room, the muffler that we're using today is the twin in, twin out with the X-pipe in the middle. So yeah, as you can see guys, the exhaust gases will be equalising the pressure inside the muffler itself, which is the opposite of what we've done. So with the twin in to single 4, we made this merge. With this muffler, the merge is already manufactured inside the muffler. So that's why we don't have to worry about having an X-pipe before or after the muffler. A little hack that I learned a while ago was to use a gearbox jack to position your muffler. The best thing about these is that they're fully adjustable. So when I was working on the back of Sylvia's and stuff, obviously when the exhaust comes out the back, you want it to have a little bit of upsweep because that's how they look the best. And the best way to do that was just to wind this dial, lever. What do you call this, Paul?
Adjustment lever.
Adjustment lever. So to wind the adjustment lever up, that way you can set your angle of the exhaust and it's perfect. You just drop the height. It sort of makes it so easy to get the muffler exactly where you want it. If you are building an exhaust and you've got access to one of these, man, they make life so easy. Facts with Fabi. pretty much off the car, eh? And the other good thing about setting a muffler up on here is that you can use your wallet or a piece of cardboard, and that way you can get the muffler sitting dead square. So yeah, for building an exhaust, a gearbox jack is unreal. All right, so that's tapped out. We're gonna have to bring the car down, but what I just realized, doing twin back here with going from twin vertical to twin horizontal, I never realized why Ford did it like that. But looking at where I need to put the muffler, there's this big shield in front of the trailing arm that we're gonna have to work around. So it's good. Like I really enjoy the fact that sort of we're learning as you guys are learning as well. It's nice not to jump on camera and seem like we know it all. So we'll get the car brought down a little bit and we'll start connecting the dots at the front, keeping in mind that I've got to keep space back here. I'm gonna be fucked this afternoon. So now we've brought the car down, we got the muffler roughly where I think it's gonna need to be. That might change depending on what we figure out back here. I'll bolt this section up. I almost feel, man, like that should be like there, right? I wonder if we've bent this, because I don't think that that should be, I would be almost positive that they would leave you room there, right? I wonder if pulling the exhaust off and off so many times we've bent this. This is why, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, this is perfect justification for getting another Raptor, right?
Yeah.
Dom, can I please have another Raptor? I need one.
You get a car! You get a car!
I might put some bolts in here and then I might go get Morgan and get his opinion as well. You might notice Morgan's not with me today. It's Tuesday and we're in the middle of manufacturing production, which is why it's so noisy in the workshop as well. But I'm a bit curious about this, so I'm gonna go grab Morgs and I'll get him down there and we'll have a look. Morgan! So, I was just bolting this section of exhaust together.
Yeah.
That's all bolted up, it's all square, right?
Yeah.
Look at the angle that the flex joins are on. And when you square that up, it makes the flex joins do an S-bend. Can you recall, because I can't, because it's been that long since it's been standard.
Like it's been a while since I've actually looked at the front end of it.
Yeah.
I was under the back.
The only thing I'm wondering, at some stage throughout everything that we've been stuffing around with for the last couple months, whether we've bent the hanger up. Like I wonder if we've bent it here and whether it should actually, like if I put, you know what I mean? I don't know if that S-bend is supposed to be there. We really should have taken some photos of this thing before we pulled it apart, eh?
Yeah.
It was like unwrapping a Christmas present. It was just, there was no nicely pulling the tape off. We were just in there ripping it apart.
Like slopes from this angle, it even slopes down like this because of the hanger.
Hello. Hey, I'm just putting this Raptor back together and I'm curious about something on ours. It's kind of hard to explain, but I'll send you some pictures. While you're out, can you do me a huge favour and swing past Motorama? And just compare what a factory Raptor looks like compared to what we've got going on here. From memory, last time I drove past, there was a code orange one sitting out the front, so fingers crossed it's still there.
All right.
All right, I'll send you these pictures now.
Thank you, bro. Bye. Bye. It's Cameron's Bodyworks. Josh gave me a hard time for not shouting him out, so... Hey, Josh. I found the code orange Raptor. Luckily, it's right out the front. And good thing I'm not an awkward dude, so we'll just walk up to it, go underneath it and check out what Nathan wanted to confirm. So cool. Yeah, good day at work actually. Sweet. When people say don't buy that car, it's going to be super impractical, you'll fucking hate it, they're not wrong. They're just not wrong. Just listen to your friends. Listen to them.
All right, so the only other thing we need to do before we start cutting some material is kind of just like eye this up and see. The other thing as well is to figure out what the difference is between the two pipes. So in last episode, Morgs measured up the pipes when he made the wire pipe, and that was measuring the gap between the two. Man, it looks so close. So we've got 50 between, 37. So there's gonna need to be an ever so slight joggle between the two pipes. And that's okay, because I think as well, looking at that, if I was to put a straight edge across there, to square that up, is that square about there, Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I reckon we could almost run like a dead straight line through there. It's just making up for the difference in the, so we've got 50 here, 35 here. So we just got to bring it in ever so slightly.
Why do you call it a joggle?
It could be completely wrong, let me know if I am. But a joggle is an ever so slight change in direction. So we used to, when we would do switchboard stuff, we'd put like a little fold down and then a little fold back. And it was just to make up sort of anywhere between 1 to 3 millimeters of difference. So I don't know that that's what the technical term is for it, but that's what I've always been taught. So let me know if I'm wrong. Let's shoot back down to the car and see if I can be lazy and not get away with not putting a joggle in this. It's not gonna happen, no way, I couldn't be that lucky. Those spigots have been welded on a little bit on the piece. I reckon it might be my lucky day, eh? I understand that that's not the correct thing to do. But man, we're so time poor with trying to get this done and get it to the tuners. Again, the whole experiment is just for sound, so let's do it, let's be cheeky. When we redo it, I'll put the joggle in this side, because if I was to do both, it'd be way more work. And if I keep this side straight, it's gonna move the muffler across to the center of the car, which is gonna give me more room down the back where that trailing arm bracket thing is anyway. So yeah, for today, I'm just gonna tack them on here. They should slip in the muffler, I reckon. Is this sack? What do we reckon? Yeah, there's definitely, I don't think there's as much of a bend in that as what there is in ours. So we might beat that bracket, beat the hanger down a little bit. You reckon I should tell him to go inside and sign a contract on a new one while he's there? All right, let's get this off. You fit all your camera gear in a Raptor, hey Paul? Let's go see Raz. Razzle. All right, mate. Don't zap me.
I'll do my best to. Easy.
Another one there. Yep. Can you clamp that vice up, Raz? Up sides. Right on top.
Yep.
Oh, hang on. Yep. So you might notice working in a little bit of a shanty down there at the moment. Get some cardboard boxes up just to stop the wind and stuff. And man, we are, the amount of inquiries and work we're getting every week, we just keep getting busier and busier and busier, which is awesome, but we're expanding quicker than I've got time to make the workshop better with it. So if anyone out there is a cold room builder and wants to do a cashy for me and build me some new enclosed fab rooms, please sing out, because that would be super, super helpful. And by cashy, I obviously mean on the books, full taxes paid. Alrighty. Pump that up. Don't you know, pump it up. That's a pretty good start, I reckon. I guess the next step, might put the tailpipes back on it, and then we can start working backwards to the tailpipes. I think. Join the dots at the front, now let's join the dots at the back. I'm positive I'm gonna like the twin into single better.
I feel like because it's larger.
Can I start it now? Can I cheat?
Is it already? It's just straight pipe.
So as far as positioning this, I wonder should we build some sort of fixture? Do I put 2 bits of flat bar here to stop them from moving? Lock it back in with a couple of bits of flat bar, yeah.
Yeah.
Plonk that in there and start it up, you reckon, Paul?
Yeah. Done.
Done. Job done. All right, I'm gonna see Raz, get some more bits tacked up. I'll sing out when I need a hand.
Godspeed.
Thank you. So to give you a better explanation about what Morgan and I were talking about underneath the car, I got a set of stock tailpipes for this. That way we could work backwards to a point that we knew that was factory. The other thing I'm going to do is just run a bit of flat bar between there and there. That way it'll lock these pipes into the exact position they would be in, so I can cut the X pipe off, and then we can just join the dots between here and the muffler, and we're going to leave the valves on the bench. We're not, we're going to put the valves back in. I'll probably put them just here. yeah, to get this done today, I think that's going to be the way to do it. So let's go see Raz again. Hello, mate.
All right.
I need help again. I'm going to cut some flat bar, Raz, and we're just going to put flat bar, and that way I can cut the X-pipe off. Where is the flat bar these days?
In the corner over here.
You see how long I've been off the tools for, eh?
We'll find it one day.
Gappy that side, eh? Sorry. All right, let's go get this X-pipe off. Thank you, mate.
No worries, mate.
See you soon. I would love to be able to cut this in here because dealing with the grinder and both saws is absolutely bloody painful. So we'll see what we can jimmy up. So, where have you been?
Department of Transport. So, if you guys are following us on Instagram or Facebook, you would have seen that we were running a promo this week. If you guessed the personalised plates that we got for the Raptor, you had a chance to win a carton, BWS voucher.
Yeah, a carton of beer, a BWS voucher, and a stubby cooler to drink your beer or ginger beer or hard solos out of.
So if you want to be part of those ongoing competitions, just jump across to our socials, give that a follow as well.
Yeah, I reckon. You want to go hand them out, come back? I'll show you what we're up to.
Yeah, sounds good.
It's sick. We're making moves. Thank you.
Moves.
It's not going to happen. All right, let's go get the grinder. All right, back to the bench. So I'm just going to run back down the other end real quick. I'm going to grab the air saw. So you can see in the middle here, I've still got that join. And the reason why I've done that is in case there's any tension or any pressure here, when I run through there with the grinder, if there's pressure, it's going to put pressure on the blade of the grinder, grab, explode, and that's going to end up in an injury. So for safety, we're going to use the air saw. If that grabs, no big deal. This is your department, isn't it?
Yeah, I can definitely do that.
What do you think?
What are you up to? What's happened since I've been gone?
Give me 37 more seconds.
Yeah,
We'll
right.
All right. So what I found out before me and Morgs were talking, once I put the muffler up in here, I realised the reason why they come out vertically is so that they don't bash into this. But do you see what I mean here about, see how it like does a bit of an S there?
Yeah.
The one at Motorama look like that?
Maybe, I mean, there's only a couple of, what's that, like 10 mil difference and it flattens out, and that's probably what it looks like at
Oh,
Motorama.
good. Okay,
Yeah.
that's
There's
cool.
a slight change, but
Yeah.
not.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. So we're getting there.
So what are you going to do? Just move the trailing arm? Box that off. Probably
You're
easier,
just going to put a
eh?
9-inch and leaf springs in it? Well, I'll show you. Because we got those stock tailpipes, so we like welded this all together so when we cut it up it didn't move everywhere.
Yeah.
We pretty much just have to connect the dots.
Yeah.
I had a thought, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to leave the valves on the shelf.
On the what?
I'm just going to leave the valves on the shelf, I'm not going to put them back
No,
in.
that's not how that's happening.
Nah, kidding. I'll probably put them right here. I'll cut the muffler back.
Yep.
We might put a little kink and then I'll put them just here. All right, so before we move on to tacking the last piece of the exhaust on, what we need to do is just take a tiny little bit off the valves. So what we did was put in Baja mode and unplugged it so that way they're stuck wide open. That way I can take a tiny little bit off just to relieve a bit of back pressure and yeah, join some dots and see how it sounds. Wait, we can buy these new still, hey?
Turn it back now.
No, I know. All right, so you can see I got to clean them up obviously, but basically what I've done is I've just put a small relief in it. This is just to see if it's going to work. Hopefully it does, because if not, I've just whacked my valves. Nah, it'll be all right. So we'll clean them up and then we'll start joining some dots. I better go chase up Morg so he can give me a hand. All right, guys, so the next part of this process is going to be fairly drawn out. I'm not sure how quick it's going to be to connect all of the dots under here. So rather than Paul sitting around watching paint dry, I'm just going to set the GoPro up and we'll do a time lapse of how I work all this out. And I'm going to, much to my dismay, put the valves back in as well. Let's get fabbing. maybe this won't be as bad as what I thought. I think what I might do, I might put the valves right on the back of the muffler. I'd love to put them in the bin, but let's go with on the back of the muffler. I should start the room here, and then that way they won't be in different spots in the exhaust. I don't think it would make any difference as to them being at different sides of the exhaust, but rather than whacking around, I'm just going to put them straight on the back of the muffler, and then that way we know it'll be fine. Yeah, baby. So basically where I've gotten up to is I've got this piece here sorted. Yep. So the muffler's just got to come back a little bit. We'll tack this in. I did have this piece sort of half tacked up, but looking at it now, I think something's moved because this is leaking a bit of oil. I think something's moved. So I'm going to get Morgs to give me a hand. We'll lock this pipe in. We'll lock the muffler in down the front. I'll remake this one, we'll lock that in. We'll pull it all off, weld it all up, see what it sounds like. Looking at it from underneath, this one almost runs dead square.
Yeah.
And I was saying earlier, I reckon if this one runs dead straight, to make up the difference, because it's 35 here and 50 here,
Yeah.
we'll put an ever so slight kick in this.
To bring it back.
Yep. We can mandrel bend this section,
Yeah.
mandrel bend that section, and it'll be just a matter of 2 welds there,
Yeah.
2 welds there, 1 there. That's it. This is by far going to be heaps easier to manufacture. So let's hope it sounds as good as the other one did. Let's get it off. Let's get it welded out.
Yeah.
While I'm welding it out, or you, whoever, we'll get someone else to do the tips.
Yeah.
Now that we've worked, so we've got stock tailpipes on it, so we could work back and make sure all this was all sweet.
Yeah.
Because I reckon this is going to be the one we're going to be manufacturing. Put the tips on it, weld it out, get it fitted, plug the valves in, do some skids. Let's do it.
Doing?
All the important jobs, duh. How are we going to road test it with no number plates? Get back to welding. So, if you're on our socials, like Zach said earlier, we were running a bit of a competition, carton of beer and stubby cooler to the first person to guess what our new number plates are for our Ranger Raptor. Shit over the car, we'll find out. What do you reckon? So, if you guessed it right, you're the first one. Zach's going to be in contact with you. We'll make sure he sends you a carton of beer. Morgs has just finished welding out the exhaust while I finished all the really important jobs. Number plates, side steps back on. What we should have done is probably put tyres on it because these things are fucked. But anyway, so the exhaust is all finished up. Option 1, so it's a twin 2.5 in, twin 2.5 out with the X pipe in the muffler itself. We've put the valves right on the back of the muffler. We've taken a tiny little shave off the valve so that way in quiet mode a little bit of gas can still get through. Is that going to be enough? We don't know yet. We'll find out this Harvey. And we've joined back into the factory system back here. So pretty much all we've got to do now, do some bolts up, give it a clean down, put the tips on, do some burnouts. That's it. It's always about the burnouts, eh, Morgs?
Always.
So Tom did us a bit of a solid today. Quickly modified the stock tailpipes so that way we could put our version 2 tips back on. So that way this afternoon, when we hear it, it'll sound exactly like it did with the other one. So we'll be able to get a side-by-side noise comparison video. So one thing we have noticed going off the comments of our last video is that a lot of you guys have sort of brought up the fact that it doesn't really sound much different, and you know what, you're 100% correct, that it doesn't sound that much different. So it's not really that much louder, but what we've noticed is this specifically in person is that it's the tone difference. It's much deeper, it's less raspier. While you sort of can't really hear it that well watching it on your TV or your computer, one thing we definitely do recommend is to chuck a set of headphones in. Go in a quiet room, AirPods on noise cancelling mode, or even some sort of Bose noise cancelling things. The further in your ears you can get the sound, the better chance you have of hearing what it sounds like. So again, like I said, man, it's not a huge dramatic difference. We never expected it to be. We just wanted a little bit of a change in the tone, which is what we achieved last time. So.
There's something in the water. I feel it taking over me. It's slowly getting harder to breathe, to breathe, to breathe.
Just in time, Daniel. So we got all the boys in the workshop gathered up. Version 1 or option 1, twin in, twin out. It's hotly debated. Paul thinks it's going to sound better. I think it's going to sound worse. Morgs?
I feel impartial to this one, eh? I reckon it's gonna sound worse, like a bit more mangy.
We're good. Go Baja, yep.
It actually sounds quite good.
Deeper through the mid-range.
Yeah, up top it sounds different. Back, I reckon. Yeah.
Be rude not to.
I reckon almost
Down the back. Let's go. I think it sounds more tunery.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah,
I
that's
almost think
better.
I like it more.
I do.
Can I come to Lakeside with you on Friday?
Yeah, let's do it. Give Russ a call. How cool is that?
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. Exhaust, Baja, burnout, engage. What do you think?
I think it's much deeper.
Yeah?
Yeah, then the 2 into 1 and then back out again.
That's good. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
I think I like it better.
I like this one
Yeah.
better.
All right, Paul, I owe you a carton. Yeah. Morgs, give it a razz. I want to hear what it sounds like from the outside.
What do you reckon?
Sounds good in the car, hey?
Yeah, it sounds like real deep in the car. I
Yeah.
forgot to turn it in manual mode when I took off.
Man, when me and Zach, like when we just went for a drive, Zach's like downshifting, like full. It's very like tunery.
Yeah, it sounds heaps better the whole way across.
All right, let's put it away before we break it.
Yeah.
That was good.
She ain't ready for the AF. Mad as savage, me back and I'm back and it happening, ready to blow. I remember doing deeds with Deji from the street, they left me on my own. Monkey asking me about how I got the P, I told her leave it mum and grow. Then they're ringing up my phone.
We're here at Diesel Tuning Brisbane. Why are we here?
Well, The reason why we chose Jordan from Diesel Tuning Brisbane was because our whole purpose for buying this car for research and development was to be able to document what we do the whole way along, so that way you guys are learning as we're learning. We're here, we're going to get the car tuned first. Now we've jumped the gun a little bit and we've got the mid-pipe on it, which is, it may be a little bit to our detriment, but we'll wait and see what happens. Worst case, we can just get a stock mid-pipe from somewhere else. But I think the plan is to get the car tuned, and then each time we develop a new part, we'll put it in the car, we'll bring it back up, we'll see Jordan, see if we can wring some more out of its neck, and then that way we can let you guys know that the products that we're selling not only look good and sound good, but could also increase fuel economy and power as well, right?
Yeah, Jordan's going to hate us in a few months.
Yeah. And good thing Caboolture's really close to where we are in Rocklea, but nevertheless, we're here today. I think he's going to strap the car on the dyno. We're going to get some initial power runs, some initial logs. We're then going to piss off and leave him alone to do his thing, which will look like reflashing the ECU. And we'll come back in a couple of days when it's done and step by step get closer to Zach actually being able to drive this thing home one day.
Cheeky highway race on the way home.
But yeah, so that's the plan. Get on the dyno, get it tuned. We'll take it away. I think next we might fit the stock inlet box, bring that back, see if we can get some extra gains out of that. We're going to develop high flow, both high flow and catless downpipes. We'll bring it back for both of those. But yeah, each step of the process, guys, we'll be documenting it. We're going to be working with Jordan because reason being that we've specifically chosen Jordan is because he's one of the very few guys that we've been able to find in Australia that can reflash the factory ECU. So what that means is this tune is going to be so specifically tailored to every single one of our products, rather than just like a plug and play tune that doesn't sort of take into account increased airflow, less back pressure, etc., etc.
Right. So it's a tailored tune for that vehicle's modifications rather than a copy-paste tune.
Exactly. And so what we're sort of working on, I suppose, developing might look something like a good, better, best. And so as this is expanding and we're learning, I think what we might do is maybe develop a couple of packages, right? And with the best package being, like what Russ said, the full exhaust with the mufflers the whole way out the back, catless downpipes, couple of resonators, the stock inlet airbox, the tune, a blow-off valve. We're going to start making steps towards delivering you guys packages that include Jordan's tunes, our products, and burnouts.
There's no problems with running our products without a tune though, is there?
No,
so like
absolutely
if someone
not,
wanted to run the mid-pipe, you can run it. It's going to sound better, but you're not going to realise those gains till you get a tune.
I think so, yeah. And from my very basic...
Here we go.
From what we've shown about my very basic knowledge of the Raptor is that they do something, I think it's called closed loop fueling or something. But from what I can figure out, as you give it more air, then it pulls timing and boost to compensate.
Essentially, it has some parameters that it wants to run in.
And it works within them.
And it'll be like, hey, I've got too much air.
Correct,
I'm going to retard the timing a little bit.
But so if our exhaust is what we hope to be better than factory, you might not realise those gains without a tune because, like you said, the car's operating within the parameters. It's got a much more free-flowing exhaust, so it'll pull power from somewhere else because it knows that it shouldn't be making more power. Just using that as an example. So
if you're in the 99% of tuners that know more about this than us,
please comment
below.
Because in fairness, I know f*** all when it comes to this. I'm just regurgitating information that I think I've remembered.
Yeah. That generally is the consensus that we're hearing, you know, is that they're designed to run between these parameters that are nice and safe. And so whatever we put on it, the car's still going to want to run between this. So, so to really see the full potential of this thing and to work closer towards Australia's fastest Raptor, got to get it tuned. It's a no-brainer. No-brainer.
Let's get inside.
How's that for an intro?
Woo!
Fake crap, same fuck, space squad, say lots, but flop ain't what I'm on, aim up. Don't stop, we beat leveling, proceeds increase heavily. Don't need this man's energy, I be the one, beat the one. I don't make a song to make a song, and the vibe is right, the mic will let me on to the sounds I light up. I just spit the strong in the line, pick me first before I'm gone. I am straight sicker with the wordplay, syllables spin, I don't fit it when I'm...
So another good thing to note while we're here today is Jordan's little weather station he's got on the wall. So it shows your ambient temperature and relative humidity. All of these facts do play a hugely important part into how much power a car can make. When I used to work at Next Up, we've seen cars make hugely different numbers back-to-back days depending on the air temperature, the humidity. It all factors into account. So that's another thing to think about when you get your Raptor tune is all of these conditions, even to the point where we've seen cars that make different power from Brisbane to Toowoomba between Next Up and Force Tuning. One thing to keep in mind when you're buying products based solely on a performance aspect, when you get the car tuned, if you're disappointed, man, if these values aren't the same as what we're looking at today, there's a pretty good chance you're going to see different figures.
That dropped 90 newton meters of torque.
So you can see there, what Jordan was just saying is that we've dropped 90 newton meters of torque and what, about 5 horsepower from a back-to-back dyno run. And that's just inefficiency in the standard intercooler, right? So basically what that means is that we're seeing so much heat soak through the standard intercooler that it's bringing the inlet air temperature up. And the car knows that when that comes up, it's got to retard the timing, which means that it's going to make less power. So all of this information is hugely important for us to figure out what products to fit for the car and how to develop products best for us to make sure that these things can stay efficient as possible. Because if you're flogging down the beach and it's not getting a chance to recover, having a factory intercooler, you're just going to be wringing its neck, man. And by the time you end up at the other end of Fraser with a band on the back, with a stock intercooler, your engine inlet air temperatures are going to be through the fucking roof. What do you think, Dad?
This is stress,
You look worried, man.
I was worried. I am worried.
Why are you worried?
I don't know, it's in good hands.
It does make me nervous, but I'm less nervous about this than I was with the wagon. That's for sure. I don't know why.
Is that because you got a new car warranty?
Yeah. We definitely
Straight into a flat.
definitely have not told Tim that we're tuning it, so
Nah.
no tune, no worries, hey.
No, look, I can't imagine there's any reason to. Especially we were just getting some base maps there, right? Yeah.
I guess a new intercooler will be of utmost importance because that's 2 dyno runs, right?
Yep.
That's what have we done? Spent maybe a minute on the dyno in 33-degree heat. You imagine fanging up Fraser?
Well, I
pulling
have
the
seen
van?
on some of the owners groups, just in the sand, they're getting like power cut.
Yeah.
You know, just after 2 minutes, sort of flat out in the sand, having fun.
Yeah.
But you know,
and like
interesting.
for it to pull 5 horsepower one dyno run back to the other, imagine what it's doing after half an hour on the beach.
oh, dude, it'd be huge.
How much difference do you think, like I know it's what, 32, 33 degrees in here today. Yep. Is ambient air temperature and horsepower a scalable entity? How many, well, what's like a degree? Is it X amount of power per degree? It's like you can't work it out like that, right?
There's not a set figure. You can use it as a general rule of thumb, but the density has more to do with it. So the AC is crispy 18, the maximum speed down is still at
32 and a half,
degrees.
yeah.
And that's with all the air moving through here.
Yeah.
It's going to get hot as up the beach.
Yeah. That's really good to know. It's it seems like quite a potential design flaw, hey?
I mean, as a marketing guy commenting on the design flaws of Ford Motor Company, as much weight as that carries.
Wait for the court case to turn up in the mail. No, it's good. I think it's given us a lot of shit we can work on to improve to make this a way better car.
Yeah. First step though, I think we do get in touch with Phoenix, check on that intercooler and yeah.
I mean, it is kind of cool, unintended pun. It's kind of cool that there are so many things we can do to make it better. Intercooler, airbox, snorkel, you know, intercooler piping might make a difference. Better, like all of it. Obviously, freeing up the exhaust is going to result in colder cylinder temp, which would be colder IAT as well, yeah?
I guess you might have to test it to find out for sure,
Episode
but...
8. We'll be back. No, that's awesome. Thank you.
Easy.
Appreciate it.
Pleasure.
All right, let's get out of here.
All right, we're back. Now, unfortunately, this is being filmed in a bit of a convoluted way. The way that this is sort of playing out is that we had the car at the dyno before we could really get some sound clips back at the shed. So we're gonna do some sound tests now. We'll play them back to back for you with the factory system, and we'll show you why this is the one we're going to go ahead with and why it sounds so good. Let's go.
So back to 2030. And nice. Some basic revs. Sport mode. And now we're going into Baja mode. Not much of a big difference between Sport and Baja there on just rev.
All right guys, that pretty much sums up mine and Paul's time here at Diesel Tuning Brisbane. We're going to leave the car here, they're going to tune it. What we want to do is be able to show you what sort of increases you're going to get with our mid-pipe and tailpipe sections. So we're getting some baseline sort of figures and then working up from there. This is most likely the product that we're going to go ahead with to market. So at the moment, we've got to confirm a couple things like valving, supply issues with any of the parts that are involved with this. So let's get that all sorted out, and then we're going to come back to you with a date that you can finally buy these. Bear with us, guys. Let's head back to the shop and we'll go from there.
What an app.
It was good. Yeah. So to recap, option one.
It's the one that we're going ahead with,
It's the one that we're going ahead with. It sounds better, easier to make, which is going to mean quicker to market. As you would have seen, guys, we dropped the car off to the dyno. Now, we had to leave the car with Jordan, which we expected because it's going to be a reflashed ECU. It's not a chip, it's not a plug and play sort of map.
We were a little bit late getting it to him as well. So
my apologies. Yeah, we were a couple of days late with that. So yeah, I think in the next episode, we'll probably pick the car up from dyno. We'll get the exhaust off, get it sent away for production, stuff around with the intake pipe a little bit.
It's a bit of fine tuning with the valves as well to get that right.
Yeah, correct.
So we'll make sure that that's bang on before we obviously start replicating. So from here, where do we go? What's next?
Like we said, manufacturing, intake pipe. What will be good actually, some dyno results from the tune.
Yeah.
We're going to shoot up as well, I think, with a stock exhaust, because we've seen, obviously, with the Raptors being such hot property at the moment, there are a few other companies developing products for them as well.
And not bad-mouthing anyone, but some wildly different results there too.
Yeah, so it would be good to have
we want
a third quote.
Exactly, yeah. And just constantly use the same dyno so that you can see a percentage increase.
Which is also why we touched on the weather station thing. Because if we go back to the dyno and it's 28 degrees instead of 33, we're going to see more power. Yeah. And that's something that's really important to note as well. So I think what we'll try and do is get back up. When we go to pick the Raptor up, we'll take a stock exhaust up. It's just a stock mid-pipe on, do a run, off, our pipe on, get some back-to-back footage, back-to-back results.
Yeah.
And I think that's about it, eh?
Yeah, I think so. So that way we'll be able to quantify the sort of, gains that you can expect with our products.
I think in all honesty though, it's, for me personally, if I was buying a mid-pipe, I'd be buying it for the sound.
Oh, 100%.
And the efficiency.
Yeah.
The sound and the efficiency. What are your thoughts? What would you prefer? If you're going to be spending a little bit of cash on a mid-pipe and you have a Raptor specifically, you want it to sound better, you want it to make 10 horsepower more, you want it to be better on fuel. I mean, you want everything, let's face it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're setting out to achieve, is everything, hey, in an OEM finish. Which is why these things aren't going to be available next week.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we really wanted to stress, right? We're not rushing this because this is the product that's going to stay that way.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
it's one thing we've been banging on about from the start is developing products that are as good, if not better, than factory.
Yeah, you have mentioned that.
Shut up. Only because you've asked me to.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Say it
guys,
again.
thanks for tuning in. See you next week.
Yeah.